Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to watch this webinar today. My name is Jack Cooper. I'm the commercial director at RT7Digital and one of the founding members of the agency. We've been helping brands on Amazon for 6 years now, but our experience actually stems back over 10 years with our own brands. We've had a number of evolutions as a business, launching our own brand, which we exited, which was a direct-to-consumer water cooler company. And we actually have a bamboo toilet paper brand, which falls under our umbrella, and that is called Bamboo. And we're still managing that and have a lot of success with that in the D2C space. As an agency, as I mentioned, we've been working with other companies now for 6 years, and we have over 80 clients, and we employ 50 members of staff full-time across the UK, Germany, Cape Town, South Africa as well, where we have an office. So we cover a wide span of Amazon regions and consider ourselves to be able to well equipped to be a global Amazon partner. So that's us in a nutshell. Now, going through to the life cycle, there are 4 main stages of an Amazon brand, of a brand's Amazon life cycle. Firstly, you have the establishment stage, which is phase 1. And then we also have the acceleration phase 2, moving through to defend and grow, and then phase 4 being yield. To attach a period of time over to this is very, very challenging. It really does depend upon the product category, levels of competition, where you're at as a business outside of Amazon as well, your brand presence across different regions. However, we have put here on the X and Y axis a couple of metrics, which one being loss dash profit, and then we also have time and budget here as well. So in essence, you should be able to accelerate the process, applying more time and budget to your account and the different KPIs and metrics that you're looking at within each phase. So within establishment, and I'm going to unpack these in a bit more detail and try and keep it to the main points here today. Within establishment, there's really specific areas that you want to look to that would differ to when you're in the acceleration phase. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'm selling on Amazon. How do I know which stage I'm at? And I think what you need to look at is really, have you got the building blocks in place? The building blocks, you don't want to show someone around your house if you're looking to sell it and you haven't cleaned the house. It's very much the same with Amazon. And I'm going to talk a little bit about more detailed Amazon specific dialogue about what that means. So establishment, you can really see as the building blocks on the foundations. And then moving through to acceleration, that is where you're in a position when you're ready to invest more and work more strategically in the account to scale. And the acceleration really is the scaling phase. And then moving on to defend and grow. And lastly, yield is the position you want to get to. This could be seen as maybe a year per phase, but as I mentioned, it's a lot of that is impacted to do with the budget and time that you have available. So drilling into establishment, really important to consider competitor and product research. We draw on a number of tools when it comes to analyzing for our clients. You need to understand the competitor landscape, and there's some tools you can use, the likes of Jungle Scout, Helium 10. I'd note those down if I was you. They're quite good entry level tools that you can use to be able to analyze and see who are the key competitors. You want to also look at price point. So how the price point differs across different regions. Maybe you've got sensitivities around pricing and flexibility of pricing. You might be heavily embedded in bricks and mortar, meaning that you have to stick to certain RRPs, or perhaps you can be a bit more flexible and go into Amazon at a different price point to what you may sell on other channels. And then product research as well. Perhaps some of your catalog isn't suitable to Amazon as a platform. And that's another thing really to consider. And this feeds into the niche analysis So what levels of volume are moving through your category on Amazon at the moment? If you're selling on Amazon right now, it's important to understand that, the levels of volumes, and the likes of Smart Scout, Jungle Scout, Helium 10. These are just a few tools that we use, and we draw on many tools. But giving you some insight here into where I would start if I was in your position and you wanted to do some of this yourself. Perhaps also you want to be looking at developing products for Amazon. To give an example, maybe a single pack of an item isn't best suited to Amazon. You notice that 4 packs are the quantity that sell better on the channel. It's important to be aware of this. Maybe it's diversifying your existing portfolio, or even to the point of actually developing new product ranges for Amazon as a channel. So before we were to launch a tool, these are key questions that I would be considering and would be looking at. And now Amazon, they're still operating on the A9 algorithm. However, the SEO component is becoming increasingly more important over time, with the search engine optimization, density of keywords. You want to be doing your keyword research, ensuring that you have high volume keywords listed within your product listing. So you've got your title, your bullet points, your product description, your back end keywords as well. All of these areas are really, really highly indexed. So the copy that is functioning well on your website needs to be adapted for Amazon, factoring in the data. Looking at, and yet again, with some of the tools I've already mentioned today, you can get monthly search volume data. Make sure that not only does your product listing look good, but it also is supported by that data as well. And conversion. So, I mean, Amazon is just as much of a product research tool in the US, UK, as it is an end purchase decision channel. And within South Africa as well, this will certainly be the case over time as Amazon embeds its roots deeper. So you want to be thinking about listing conversion, how your brand is being represented on the channel as well, and also how your imagery performs. So what we see quite commonly is a lot of brands will just duplicate the images from their website onto Amazon without any kind of thought process about what is going to work on Amazon compared to their own website. And Amazon performs very differently as a channel. It's the way that a shopper interacts with an Amazon listing is different. Also consider mobile. So over 50% of revenue on Amazon is driven by mobile. Yet same as Google. Google introduced mobile first. All of these things need to be thought about when developing your Amazon listing and your brand presence in the establishment phase. Reviews are so important. Really, really key for your ranking and performance. If you shop on Amazon, I'm sure you look at the reviews as probably one of the key indicators about whether you're going to make a purchase decision. So I know I certainly do. It's really, really, really important that you, when you launch a new product, you get the initial reviews on there. You want at least 15 reviews to begin with. Also, Amazon has a program called the Vine program, where they will actually gift products to shoppers, trusted, verified reviewers, in order to get those first few reviews on the listing. So enroll in the Vine program. This is key as well. Yes, you need to give a bit of product away, but that will really support you. And last, well, I touched on pricing strategy, but another other thing to consider is your stock strategy. So over 60% of shoppers on Amazon use Amazon Prime. And I think that is a really important metric to be aware of, because the Prime badge on Amazon is impacted by the sort of fulfillment that you use. So there's 3 ways you can fulfill on Amazon. One is via your own warehouse, and that's called merchant fulfilled, and that doesn't get the Prime badge. And we often see brands wondering why they're not getting any traction, but their listings don't have Prime. So the 2 options that can give you Prime, and this is on Seller Central, would be FBA. So that's where you ship your stock into Amazon and then they fulfill on your behalf. Or you can do something called Seller Fulfilled Prime. Because of time today. I'm not going to unpack seller fulfilled Prime in detail, but that's where you fulfill via your own warehouse and you get the benefit of the Prime badge. Now, in terms of requirements for that, I suggest you have a look online, the criteria that supports that. But it may be best suited to you, and I would be doing a analysis to see, weighing up Prime versus profitability in order to make that stock strategy decision. So those are key considerations in the establishment phase. And then we move into acceleration. So this is once you've got your account set up, you've got stock in the correct place, you've got your listings optimized top to bottom with your titles, your bullet points, your product description, A+ content as well. You need to have your trademark in place, registered with brand registry. All of these best practices and boxes need to be ticked before you can move into the acceleration phase. Now, acceleration phase is where we start thinking about the advertising. Advertising on Amazon works very similarly to Google advertising on the whole, in the way that it is a cost per click model, bids on specific keywords, and you need to have a budget allocated. You can use your advertising to target competitors. This is where you've got your retail ready, your optimized listings, and you can start to put them on your competitor listings. There's also software that you can utilize in order to track how effective you're being and how your market share is growing over time. Your bestseller rank is another thing to look at here during that phase. How is that increasing? With Helium 10, you can track your bestseller rank. So the BSR, the bestseller rank, is the rank that every listing has based upon number of units sold. And you can see it when you scroll down an Amazon listing. So these are the metrics you want to be looking at here. And then what are your customers saying about your products? This is really key. The amount of brands that we review that have negative reviews and they haven't taken that on board. And I'm not saying you necessarily need to change your product, but perhaps you need to address that any potential pushback or issues within the listing content. This is something that we see. We've seen a lot, as well as there are other opportunities as well, which is you can actually send follow-up emails from Amazon asking for reviews, and they can also be just as much to prevent negative reviews as much as promote positive ones. So really, really important to take that on board. An example would be, we used to manufacture these Himalayan salt shot glasses for tequila, which were very popular, but they couldn't be washed in the washing machine, in the dishwasher. So but many, as you know, shoppers, they often will ignore or not read everything that they see on a listing. So as much as we put it there, we were able to actually mitigate negative reviews by including that in follow-up emails as well. And then lastly, in the acceleration phase, I would consider a hybrid model. So you've got two ways you can sell on Amazon. One is via Vendor Central, and the second is via Seller Central. Vendor Central is where Amazon will order product from you as a business customer and sell that on your behalf. And Seller Central is where Amazon take a percentage commission on every sale. Seller Central is the most common. Vendor Central tends to be invite only. If you have started your journey with a Seller Central account and you've grown to a certain level that you're in the acceleration phase, then it is more than likely that Amazon would have reached out to you in order to potentially give you an invite to the vendor platform. So consider running them in hybrid, and that's called a hybrid model. There's lots of benefits of that, which I won't go into now, but be more than happy to pick up in a separate conversation. Vendor Central can often be much more profitable than Seller Central. And then defend and grow. So the picture that we're looking at here, you're thinking, am I in the defend and grow phase? Are all your listings fully optimized? Have they built reviews? This is really key. We're talking, you need to be in the hundreds to thousands of reviews to be in this phase, depending on how competitive your category is. And at that stage, you think, okay, where are there other opportunities? We're already dominant in our category. Perhaps there's opportunities in new markets, expansion. This is the time when you have capital, sufficient capital from the existing Amazon business that you can invest into expansion and look at other channels. maybe investing more into special events, putting larger budgets towards those promotional periods, I would look at again. When you've got all your products grouped into variations, the reviews will accumulate. If they get to the stage you could split them off, that gives you more dominance over the search results page. So splitting down variations could be another key one to look at here. And unless you've got a really good control over your logistics and your distribution, then it's quite likely that if you're in this defend and grow position, there's going to be a lot of resellers trying to steal your buy box. Have a look at what buy box is, but it's essentially the featured offer button, the buy now button. There can only be one seller that benefits from each purchase, but many can bid for that on a listing. So we often see this: you put all the hard work into growing the listing, and then one of your resellers is stealing that from you. And DSP, so that's Amazon advertising, which is more measured on an impression share model. So you pay per 1,000 impressions, and it allows you to actually advertise off of Amazon and driving traffic to Amazon. Minimum spends of around £5,000 per month. So that's quite a significant amount to be spending. So you need to make sure you're in this mature position before you look at DSP. But the display side is really exciting. It will allow you to build your market share. You can target audiences. There's a lot more flexibility in advertising that makes it relevant at that time. And then catalog management as well, focusing your efforts where you're going to see the best level of return. Perhaps there's also new product development opportunities there in the defend and grow phase. And lastly, we move into yield. So DSP, again, a key focus here. You want to ensure that you're focusing as well on managing successful listings, things that you're doing day to day on that more detailed level. You would probably want to have in-house resource. If you're working with an agency, have in-house resource to focus on this alongside your agency. And when you're capitalizing on the existing level of demand, driving new customers to Amazon as a channel, you're also going to have competitors coming into your space, and it's really important that you would not allowing them to bid on your brand keyword, not allowing them to target your ASIN, and what that is a product targeting ad. So also really key that you are running brand defense campaigns, and brand defense is a very, very, very important area of the yield phase. Perhaps there's opportunity to do more variable pricing as well. This is subjective, but if you're able to be more flexible with your pricing throughout the year, that is another key thing to look at. So that was the overview. I hope you found that useful. I wanted to really stress on the initial phase one. Make sure that was very detailed and that you got the building blocks in place. But to summarize, don't run before you can walk with Amazon. It is a journey. These steps do need to be followed in order to maximize the opportunity. And you don't want to be driving paid traffic to listings that aren't optimized.